All right, guys, let's get this show underway. This is the Corey Maselli Show with my co-host, Matthias Bergstrom Anderson, holding it down over in Denmark, the sexy Viking. So, today we've got a phenomenal guest, good friend of mine I've known, good chunk of time now, Mr. Joey Goodspeed, a legend out of Notre Dame University, and put quite an NFL career together, too. So the Corey Maselli Show today is the Joey Goodspeed Show. We're going to get down and dirty into your whole story, Joe. So one thing I'll share with you, and so we're certainly not going to follow steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would not be my style. We're going to jump all over the place and do this Quentin Tarantino mode. So over the years, your name comes up, Joey, like still to this day. Maybe you're not surprised, but I'm maybe a little surprised at how many people still remember you for your days at Notre Dame.
And, I am too. Yeah. I am too, Corey, to be honest with you. I had a pretty decent career at Notre Dame, but not great. I thought I had a better NFL career, but yeah, I'm still kind of shocked to this day. I still get mail, and I still maybe it's the last name is pretty memorable, but I don't know. I'm still kind of surprised myself, to be honest. But yeah, we go back a ways, don't we, Corey? I was thinking about that this morning. Like, what, over 20 years, man? It's a long time.
Yeah. I recall you popped into the Gold Gym in Aurora when I first started my D1 training business. And you just came up to me and you said, that training looks pretty cool. Let's get together and do something. Basically how it worked. You might have a better memory than me about it. What's your
No, I mean, that's pretty much spot on. I was like a lost puppy. I had the frame, I had the strength. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, and so I was looking for some guidance. Yeah, I mean, I saw you in there, kind of watch what you were doing with the other athletes. And yeah, it looked kind of cool, man. And so I needed some direction. I needed some sort of program. And you were nice enough to take me under your wing, man. So that's how I appreciate it to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you'd never been in a weight room before. At this point, you were already done with your college career, getting ready for your NFL stuff. So, maybe you could help share what the difference with the style of training we kind of launched in was compared to like the baseline training you had done. You had already benched like 450 pounds and whatever. I don't know. Rattle off your numbers. It's a general interest.
I was one of those guys most people hate, to be honest with you. I was one of those guys that was just naturally strong. Even to this day, I could probably still go in the room, weight room and bench 400 pounds and piss people off. But yeah, in high school, I was probably doing squatting close to 600 pounds. Clean was my thing, though. I was cleaning about 400 and benching. I was back and forth because I had some shoulder issues. I tore my AC joint at 3rd-degree separations in my shoulder. So my bench press, I was probably about 350 in high school, but college.
So if I heard you right, you're already cleaning 400 in high school, Joey?
I was, yeah. Cleaning was my thing, man. Yeah, clean was my thing. That record will never be broken, ever.
Right.
Not in high school.
That's crazy.
College, I think by the time I met you, I was probably doing about 450 in the bench press, squatting, I don't know, high mid 600s. I don't know, cleaning about the same. I mean, the strength was definitely there. But I was a gym rat. I lived in the weight room, and I was looking for something more, though. What I noticed about your training is it wasn't just about how much you bench and all that. It was more about balance. It was more about explosion. It was more the things I was looking for to become a better athlete, at the next level.
Cool.
Strength is, anybody can do that. I was looking for more balance, flexibility, explosion. And those are all things that I noticed that you incorporated with your training, which I think benefited me. Tremendous.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. This is a story that comes to mind. Like for elite level athletes, man, professional athletes have developed like such a fine acumen for controlling their body, and they're in touch with what's going on to such a different level. And I think that is a skill in of itself that can be improved and built on. But I don't know if you remember this. There's one day we were doing like some blocking drills on a heavy bag, and I swear you broke your damn wrist. And somehow in a 5-minute period of time, put it back together. Do you remember that by chance?
I do. Yeah, I do. I dislocated my wrist. It popped out for a minute. I had broken my wrist when I was a younger kid in 7th grade playing soccer. It was a terrible break, man. And it was always kind of, even now, it's still, my left wrist is not nearly as strong as my right. And for every game, for every practice, I had to tape up my wrist pretty heavy. But yeah, I do remember it came out, it dislocated, and it didn't actually, you know what? It's funny, it didn't hurt. Like, not that I'm some kind of badass or tough guy, but it really didn't hurt. I mean, I popped it back in. It swelled up the next day. After that, it was terrible. But at the time, I was just into the training. I didn't want to, seem like a wimp, and so I kept going. But it didn't hurt that bad that day, to be honest with you.
Well, I literally watched you do something to like fix the damn thing on the run. I was kind of impressed with that.
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
I've been talking to Matthias about incorporating some hill sprints into his training. Matthias is like, talk to us about some hill sprints, Joey G.
That's the one thing that comes to my mind, Gory. Matthias, I tell you what, man. There's been, I think there's been one or two times in my life where I've been completely broken, and Corey was one of them, responsible for the first one. He broke me, man. That hill, Corey, to this day was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, all the workouts, all the football games going against Ray Lewis or like, it doesn't matter. That hill broke me. I remember when we were done, I couldn't move. I couldn't even get down the hill. I couldn't even I didn't have the strength to even roll. I was so embarrassed too, because I remember there was some other athletes there that you brought, Corey, the running back from Illinois. What's his name? Clifford, yeah, he was a little stud at the time too. I remember I was so embarrassed. I went back to that hill. I don't think I told you this, or maybe I did, but I went back to that hill every day for 2 weeks after that. And if you remember, the next time I went to that hill, I dominated. I was running laps around. Clifford, but
that's right.
But that's just, you broke me on that hill. I've never in my life have I experienced that. I had a weird taste in my mouth. I remember I was seeing stars, and I couldn't catch my breath, and you tried to talk to me. I'm like, just get the hell away from me. Go away.
Go away.
Here, man.
I'm impressed. You went back to that sucker every day, huh?
I did, just because, it woke me up. I mean, gosh, damn, it's how out of shape I was. And, I had this poster in my room growing up of Walter Payton, like sprinting up the hill back in the day. And I kept on, envisioning that. Walter did this all the time. And I just kind of promised myself I'll never be put in that situation or be, or feel that terrible again, because it was unacceptable in my opinion. Because I mean, he didn't run that much, I don't think. I mean, it wasn't.
You did 3 of them the first time.
Yeah, it was just the first time we did it, and those are muscles I haven't used, and I was kind of embarrassed. So I don't know, fear of failure, I guess. I went and just made myself better at that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. Believe it or not, Joey, last spring I went and did that hill just to prove that I can still do it. Oh my Lord, what is that taste that comes to your mouth? Just the life leaving your body.
A metallic taste. I don't know,
man.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a headache that somehow goes throughout your entire body, head to toe.
That lactic acid. I don't know what it was, but it was a feeling I never felt before, and I've never not been able to get up or catch my breath, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it was a memory I'll never forget, man. It was eye-opening.
Is this some type of like a special hill or something?
Yeah, it's about 100 yards. I don't know the exact measurement of the angle, but it's a bit of a
huge hill.
It's a big hill. The last 10
yards, big sledding hill, a big huge hill you like to go sledding down. Good sledding hill.
Oh, it's like a very steep hill.
Very steep.
Okay. Yeah.
They can be after a couple of those, on your third one up, it feels real steep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was bad. But I just remember I couldn't go down. My muscles were so, I had like rubber bands for legs. I had to like scoot down on my butt because I couldn't even stand up. I tried to go down back. I couldn't. My muscles were absolutely torn. And I don't know. I still think about that a lot, though. And helped me too, quick. In college, we used to go to the sand dunes every now and then, which again is a pain in the ass. But I tell you what, I was prepared. I mean, I think I won every race, with the whole team there as a fullback. These little fast receivers and running backs. I was just running up and down that hill, like running laps around them. Because of my training. I had a chance to really prepare for that. I was ready.
All right, let's go back in time. High school, Joey. I know you had a phenomenal high school career.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get into a couple of your highlights, memories and games. What the preparation was like. I mean, you played at Oswego High School in Illinois by legendary coach Carl Hoinkes. People, you might be surprised. People all over the country may know of that because Oswego's made some noise over the years.
Yeah.
But talk about your high school career, ups, downs, how it all worked out, that sort of thing.
Sure. I didn't play football till high school. I was a soccer player growing up. but I always played like backyard football with my brothers, who were 6 years and 4 years older, and they're both huge. They're both well over 300 pounds, and they're big boys. And so, we would always play backyard football. And it's not that I was better than the kids in my class, but when I got a chance to play football in high school, I was just so much more aggressive, I guess is the word. It was easy to be. I think my first game in high school as a freshman, I had 11 sacks. I played nose
Holy
guard.
smoke.
I know it's still record to this day. And I was like Forrest Gump out there. I had no idea what I was doing. The coach was like, Joey, tackle the guy with the ball. And I was like, okay. And I just did. And the next day I got moved up. They moved me up. But I was really kind of lost out there. I never played football before, but I was just so much more aggressive. And I had the build. I mean, I was 6'1", and but I reached 6'1" at 7th grade. So I matured really young.
Right.
So, I was taller than the kids and stronger than the kids and just more aggressive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And so I excelled pretty quickly. I did have a good career. As a sophomore, I started on the varsity team. I was all conference. I played both ways, linebacker and fullback. All time, all state a couple times, all American my senior year. Offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. My senior year, I was a player of the year on offense in the conference, player of the year on defense, special teams player. I also punted. So, I averaged like 11 yards a carry as a fullback and 18 tackles a game as a linebacker.
Yeah. How'd you end up picking Notre Dame? What, were other schools you were seriously considering, or was it ND all the way? Or?
No, it's that was a pretty stressful time too, because it's a huge decision for a kid who's 17, 18 years old, and again, I didn't grow up watching football. I mean, to this day, I don't really watch football. So I really had no clue like who like Joe Paterno was when he came to my school. I didn't know how big it was. Like when
look at that old guy.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't care. I didn't realize how big a deal it was to have like Lou Holtz walk through the hallways and But so it was kind of overwhelming. I wasn't a huge fan of Notre Dame growing, in high school. I mean, it's not. I saw that on TV every week, which honestly kind of annoyed me. And Lou Holtz's list was kind of annoying as well. I wasn't a huge fan of them. Actually, I committed to Nebraska beginning of my junior year because when I was in high school, Nebraska won back-to-back national championships.
Oh yeah,
they were big time. They were big time, and I was a fullback and linebacker. It was right up my alley. So I committed, and what happened to me is my senior year, I got hurt. It's not bad, I hurt my shoulder, tore a 3rd-degree separation playing backyard football, like whatever. I was dumb, but it opened up my eyes to the realization that football wasn't forever. I had to think about the next 40 years, not the next 4. And
right.
I was a good student. School kind of came easy to me as well as an A student, and I was getting recruited by Stanford and the Harvards and Northwesterns of the world. And I don't know, not that Nebraska was a bad school education wise, but I was thinking more long term then, and so I decommitted from Nebraska and I narrowed it down to Northwestern and Notre Dame because they're both kind of close to home. Northwestern was really good back. That was with Gary Burnett. They won the Big Ten. That was with Fitzpatrick was a linebacker. Got back-to-back Buckus Award winner. So I narrowed it down to those 2 schools, and I don't know. I took a visit to Notre Dame, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I guess my vanity kind of won over a little bit. I loved the fact that I was going to be on TV every week, and I met Lou Holtz, and I love the man. He can convince you he can jump out a window and like a skyscraper and live. The guy's a phenomenal speaker if you get past the list.
Yeah, let's go down that path a little bit. Our international audience may or may not be familiar with Lou Holtz, but gosh darn, anyone in the States most likely is. If we got a few minutes before our first little break here. If you could get down and dirty what it's like playing under Lou Holtz, what Lou Holtz the man is like, what he as a coach is like, anything you can share with us, I'd find it interesting. So take it away.
Oh, he's a hard coach to play for. It's one of those things like I hated Lou Holtz when I was there, but I missed him when he was gone, sort of thing. He's a perfectionist. Little guy, he's so small too, Corey. The guy is like 5 feet tall, like a little hobbit. But the fear, he comes in, just the fear you have. But I'll never forget. It was one of the first practices during 2-a-days my freshman year, and I was playing linebacker, and our starting fullback got hurt, Mark Edwards, and I was like, Lou Holtz, Coach Holtz, I can play fullback. I can do this. I can do this. And so I remember he put me in against the starting defense. I remember I carried the ball. He gave me like a simple like fullback give to the right. I ran like 30, 35 yards, and I was kind of strutting back to the huddle. I was so proud of myself. And I remember Lou Holtz stopped the practice and called me over, grabbed me by the face mask, and just started screaming, God, just screaming for no reason. I couldn't understand why, and he kicked me out of practice. And I didn't believe it. I'm like, really? And all the players were like, yeah, man, get the hell out of here. And so I remember just being so confused, and I remember like almost crying when taking a shower. I'm like, what the hell did I do? I mean, come to find out the next day, I guess on this particular run, I was supposed to take like a small 6-inch step to the left before I went right, and I forgot that part of it. And so he did. He embarrassed me and kicked me out of practice just for a simple 6 inches, But in hindsight, as you get older, it's again, you got to look past that. It's something bigger than that. He was trying to humble me. He was trying to use, break me down.
Well, at that level too. At that level, it's not practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
And too, he knew I was, capable of Oswego, which biggest crowd I played in front of was maybe 3,000. Now I was going to be playing in front of millions. So he got you to think like I was more concerned about what he was going to think and what he was looking at, as opposed to the millions of people on TV. I was more concerned about just football and doing what was right and making sure he wasn't going to yell at me on back to the sideline, as opposed to the cameras and all the millions of people out there, which really it did. It definitely helped.
Right. If I remember hearing right, before Lou Holtz got into coaching, wasn't he like a janitor or something like that? And all of a sudden, he just got some idea in the middle of the night he wanted to get into coaching.
Jeez, I don't know, man. I have no idea. It wouldn't surprise me, but
yeah, I remember hearing something like that.
He's got a bucket list, whatever. He's got a bucket list of stuff he does. He's crossed almost everything off his 1,000, down there. But
all right, some of your favorite game memories at ND.
Oh man. Arizona State was a good one. I was one of my first starts as a fullback and carried the ball 4 times for 110 yards. Nice little average there.
Oh yeah.
All the games against USC were huge.
Yeah, what's that like, man? Notre Dame, USC. It doesn't get more rivalry.
Yeah, it's huge. It is. It's intense, is what it is. All week, all they do during the whole practice week is play their USC fight song. It's just just makes you hate them even more. But I just remember too how the level of talent between high school and college to me was more dramatic than from college to pro. I just remember the athletes at the college level. I played against a bunch of big white boy farm boys. They weren't very fast. They were strong, but athletic wise, I was far superior. But getting to college, these kids, it was a whole nother level. It was eye opening. It was intimidating. And USC had the best athletes always.
Really?
I remember every time we played USC at home, would grow our grass a little bit longer just to help slow them down, gave us an advantage, and so yeah, it was fast. They were strong, they were big, but it's plenty of teams like that is what gave me confidence. Like, hey, I can play at this level. I'm competing against these kids and doing well. And so it really gave me a lot of confidence to, just compete and do well. And I think it helped me go to the next level as well.
Okay, I remember. I'm assuming you remember this. You told me a story. One of your first practice at Pittsburgh. I think you and Levon Kirkland had a little exchange of words or something like that.
And for those who don't know, Levon Kirkland back in the day was like close to 300 pounds as a linebacker. The guy was huge, monster. We did a drill. It's like a pit drill, 1-on-1. You got to try to tag it. He bent my face mask, which I didn't know was possible. It's either made of steel, but my face mask bent all the way back to my nose. And I was like, oh, holy shit. I'm like, hey, equipment guy, help. I mean, what? Give me a plastic face mask? It was scary is what it was. I mean, if I wasn't wearing a helmet, or if I was playing back in the old days with leather helmets with no face, I would have been dead, just a dead man.
Oh, what did he able to share a message with you after that, or was that the message in and of itself?
Well, that was there's no message, no words to be shared. I got the message loud and clear. Jesus, with anybody. It's kind of interesting story. With Pittsburgh, I wasn't going to make that. I wasn't drafted out of college. Pittsburgh asked me to come to their camp, and it was one of those things like I knew I'd regret it if I didn't. So I did. I jumped at the opportunity, and And I really wasn't. I don't think I was on pace to make that team, to be honest. I didn't get much playing time in the preseason, but it was a game against Dallas, like the third or fourth preseason game, and they put me in on kickoff. I just remember thinking to myself, I'm going to kill somebody. This is my chance. Somebody's dying. I'm going to just wreck somebody out here. And so I remember running down on kickoff, and nobody was blocking me. But all of a sudden, I see the back wedge, which is a big 3 fat linemen coming at you, holding hands. And I'm like, all right, well, this is going to happen. So I just remember launching myself, diving into them. And I remember just waking up on the sideline, having no recollection of what happened after I went midair. But I remember in films the next day, oh man, Corey, it looked bad. It looked, I mean, I did like a flip in the air, landed on my head. I tried to get up, I fell down. I tried to get up again, I fell back down. It was bad. But I remember Bill Cowher being like, look at this son of a bitch. Look at this kid. Barely plays, gets in there. Look what he does. Like, yeah, he looks pretty bad, but God damn it. This is what, I think because of that one in particular play of me sacrificing my body, my brain, and getting concussed, it allowed me to make the team. And, I got 6 years, got a pension, and got out.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What's funny, Joey? You're the second guest in a row to tell almost the identical story, man. We had LeVar Fisher on. Remember him, ACC Player of the Year? He's about your age.
Yeah, I remember the name. I don't never met him.
But anyway, basically the identical story. I'll send you the interview. Go back and listen to that part of it. Same thing. He talks about busting that wedge. He's going to make the ESPN highlight film. Lo and behold, he did make the ESPN highlight film, but it was getting knocked out and carried off to the side.
It makes sense. I mean, if you're a coach, I'd much rather have a player who knew his plays and willing to do, whatever I asked. If that meant knocking yourself out, hell, I want that guy on my team as opposed to the guy that's going to go half-ass and who maybe I can't trust that's going to know the plays,
Yeah, I asked LeVar the same question to kind of, here's what drives me nuts, man. Sitting around here watching people play, listening to people watching an NFL game and make the comment, man, I could have caught that. I could have made that block. I mean, if the average person had just a freaking clue as to like the violence, the impact, and the freaking just the absolute like thunder that has to travel through your body each and every play in the NFL.
Yeah, it's something else, man. And the biggest thing too with the NFL, it's like you always hear about all these great college players that don't really pan out in the pros, and everyone always asks why he's so good in college. He made won the Heisman. Why isn't he having success at the next level? Pro football is something else. I mean, those players across the line of scrimmage, they get paid too, probably more than you do. And so I guess the sooner you can learn that you're not going to win every time, the better, and it's like this, I compare it to like, let's say you got in a street fight. Let's say you got in a street fight and the guy you were fighting just kicked the crap out of you, just knocked you out. It's those guys who wake up from getting their ass kicked and want to go back and fight that same guy. Those are the guys that make it.
Yeah,
there's not many of them out there. Most of the time, to get your ass kicked by a guy, the last thing you want to do is when you wake up is go fight the guy again. Most guys are going to tuck tail and walk away, like, all right, well, I'm, whatever. But it's those guys who get up and want to fight again. Those are the ones who make it. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I did it. I would line up and I'd go against Ray Lewis and I'd go as hard as I could. I'm going as hard as I can. I get knocked on my ass, and then the coach would call the exact same play the next play. And so between those plays, in that 30 seconds, he had to convince himself that didn't just happen. I'm the baddest man out here. Let's do this again. And it's those guys who can forget in those 20 seconds of what just happened and go out and compete and go again. Those are the guys who make it. And I was just, I guess, crazy enough to have that mentally, that mental strength.
Like someone's gonna get their ass whipped. Might even be me, but someone's going to.
You know what? If it happens, get in a fight, going against 3 guys, I may get my ass kicked, but one of those 3 guys is going down with me. I'm taking one out. I'm not just going to be it's that type of attitude you got to have.
Cool. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a real quick break. This is Joey Goodspeed on the Corey Maselli Show, Rap Fiend Radio. We'll pick this back up in just a second.